Okay, guys, we're doing another informational video on your calming questions. Sorry, holding my neck. If you didn't see our other video, I had my spine fused together recently. Not that recent, it's been like over a year, but um, when my neck, your body like lines itself up also, and it just didn't take that well for my neck. So I'm not there to do services anymore because I can't look down or up with my head, only my eyeballs, and I can't do my job like that. So majority of the time I have to actually hold my neck up so that I don't have to wear a neck collar because it makes me feel like a dog in a flea collar, and it's uncomfortable. So I hold it up myself, and that is what I'll be doing for the majority of this video, which is about waxing on your period. This is such a common question, and it would be a lot more common if people weren't afraid to ask it. And it is completely understandable on why people are afraid to ask it. We get chastised for stuff like this all the time, and it is just appalling when girls do it to other girls. So if you found this video somewhere outside of our area, it's intended for our clients to give them information before their service. So don't judge too harshly, and if you do, please let me know why so I can make it better. But it is about waxing on your period, and I personally think that everyone should allow it. I don't see the problem, in doing a service on someone who is menstruating in the same way that we all do. Like, I don't get it. And I know that there are places that exist that have policies where you can't be on your period or this, that, and the other. And I don't get that, because maybe if a man is waxing you, that would be one thing. But I would still, I don't know, I would still have to inform the man, like, you came out of a vagina, and when you weren't in there being cooked in the oven, it was menstruating every month also. So it is just that normal, and no one should be feeling any less than, okay? Because you can't always time up your period and when you're going to bleed, or when you're going to spot, or when you have breakthrough bleeding like me, when you have the implant on and bleed all the time when you don't think you're going to. So I would never be able to be waxed if those policies were in place down here, and we do not do that. If you ask us that over the phone, we're going to tell you to put in a tampon, unless you get a new girl on the phone who was not listening during training. Sometimes that happens. We've been in business for 9 years, and labor market is difficult these days with these children. So I'm going to leave it at that. Those are the purpose of these videos, though. So when you have a tampon in, it is a lot cleaner than any other time, bleeding or not. Like, think about it when you're laying there completely exposed, and you can refer to our other video on everything that happens in that room, every single thing that happens in that room. And yes, you are heel to heel, completely exposed. If you're plugged up, there is nothing coming out. No blood, no odor, no anything that you might be nervous about. So do not be afraid to show up in a tampon. I will tell you when I get closer to that, if it's like, because the string does what it wants to do. So if it's in an area that I need to move it out of the way, I'll probably let you know, like, so I need to move your tail real quick and just move it over, because I don't want wax on it, because I don't want to pull my wax off and be shooting a tampon out. Not that would actually happen, but I don't want to tug on it for you. Like, that would be uncomfortable for you, but it's not actually affecting me or insulting me in any way whatsoever. Personally, if you consider our job and how we get paid commission on our services. That's how most beauty industries work. So why would you want someone to cancel an appointment because they started their period? Like, why wouldn't you accommodate a woman when you are a woman yourself working in an industry for women? Why wouldn't you want to accommodate something that you all experience? Why would you want to sit there and not get paid because you weren't willing to take the extra effort to make someone feel comfortable for something like you're probably on your period yourself. Why does it matter? Why does it matter? It's a whole lot cleaner than it is any other time. Like legit any other time. Nothing is coming out, including any odors that you might be insecure about. I mean, in fact, like if I had an infection or something and I was embarrassed, but was going on vacation and I needed to get waxed and I wasn't bleeding, I would plug it up for the simple fact of knowing that I would just feel more comfortable, because you have to consider like that's where the odor comes from. So we have all these things in mind. We have this knowledge. You may not, and that is the purpose of this video. So no one is going to judge you for having a tampon in. Now, we might suggest that you bring a backup only because occasionally you can get wax. Like I've gotten wax on my string before. I know it sounds weird talking about it, but this video is not for you if that bothers you, because this is for people who are searching for waxing on their period. So I have gotten wax on my string before, and it can get uncomfortable because your body temperature will remelt the wax. And if you have on your cute panties, which you're not supposed to do when you're bleeding, but you know, who can always know? It'll like stick to your panties from your body heat or whatever. So we'll suggest that you bring an extra one for backup, just in case. I mean, you never know. Like we try to keep it supplied, but they get burned through because we all bleed, you know? So yes, you can wax on your period. Absolutely. For people that do not wear tampons, this was a question the last time I addressed it publicly. People that don't wear tampons, like my best friend doesn't totally get it. I can't personally say how that feels because I wear tampons. And I was training a girl one time, a new waxer, and it was a good experience because I had the opportunity to address how to cater to this. And this is how all my girls get trained. So they are required to watch all the videos that I make and know the same information that's expected to be given to the client. They need to hear it too. They were trained this way, but reiteration never hurts anyone. So when I was training this waxer this one particular time, it was an employee, and the employee did not wear tampons. Everyone has their own reason for whatever they choose to do. No one is judging that either. But she bled out on the table, and I think that's everyone's worst fear. But the new waxer was like, like, what do you do? I was like, when this happens, instead of the oil pad that we'd use the oil pad to like, we have a backup oil pad after we give you the 2 that are in the room. And that is all in this other video that I talked way too long, and hopefully this one won't be like that. So you have your 2 wipes, and it's really not even necessary that you use them. We just want you to feel for yourself what is happening so that when we use the oil pad, you know what we're doing. It's kind of like an intro for yourself to know what's going on before we do it ourselves, because we're going to do it ourselves to make sure that there's extra oil where it needs to be. So we will use like a little wipe instead and just wipe the blood out the way and throw it in the garbage, and you will more than likely not even know it happened. And if you found out, you'd probably be embarrassed, but it's not that common. It's not as common as you think. And saying that is probably the worst thing, because if it does happen to you, you're going to feel bad, but you can't feel bad. You can't, because the service provider probably, they're going to feel worse if you find out, because they're going to feel like they didn't do their job to make you feel not insecure, which is our biggest thing is women's insecurity, because that's a big deal to me, and we're all insecure. So if you find out that you bled and that they wiped it and continued their job, it's going to make them feel bad, because you weren't supposed to know, because that would make you feel bad. We don't want you to know, because we want you to, we don't want you to feel bad for something that's normal, So usually it can all be solved with the tampon technique, but like I said, not everybody wears tampons. And if you're really, really afraid of it, I know we all bleed differently. Usually you have a good gauge on when you're going to be heavy. And maybe don't get waxed on those days. That is your choice, but please know that when it comes to us, you are not offending anyone. You are not freaking anyone out. It may be the first time it's happened to that particular service provider because they may be a little newer. Um, but good. It's a good experience for them because anything is possible. I mean, and they need to know how to cater to it accordingly. And even though you can train all day, but um, theory and practical are two different things. So learning about it and then having the experience, they're just not the same. I've only experienced it one time because I mean, how much do you bleed during your entire period? And what did they say? It's like 2 teaspoons. Like it's not a lot. So if blood is coming out of you, it feels to us like it's a lot coming out, but it's not. Like it's gonna be like it's probably gonna be gross, but like if a little bit of spit came out, like it's gonna be like a tiny little. That's it. That's all it's gonna come out. Uh, More comes out when gravity is helping, but you're not standing up for us. You're laying back on a table. So we're just talking about a little bit of leakage that hopefully you don't know about just because we do not want you to be embarrassed. We all bleed. And that is one of my biggest things when we're training on this phone training, anything. Like we all bleed. Do not ever make someone feel uncomfortable about waxing on their period. I don't know why other people don't allow it. But if you are waxing somewhere else or even at my business and you are treated any less than the utmost respect, our golden rule is to treat everyone like you would want a stranger in this situation to treat your mother. Not everybody loves their mother. I didn't think about that at the time I came up with that motto when I was 23, but to me, it didn't matter. It was your mother. So I guess now when you're older and you have kids, treat every woman that comes in here like you would want a stranger in this situation to treat your mother or your daughter. Because the people you love, you do not want them to be embarrassed or feel uncomfortable or feel shamed at all. And that is how we operate. So if you ever feel that way at my place or anyone else, anybody else's place, talk to the manager. Tell somebody because I guarantee you they don't know that that is happening and they want to put a stop to it because it's not appropriate. And hopefully a woman's not running a business that encourages that behavior. I don't know why you would. Okay.